Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Risa Adistia Fitriani from class 9G, and I will tell you a story about two princes with hair of gold. Have you ever heard their story? If you haven't, let's listen to their story. Once upon a time, there was a young prince who left his home looking for a bride. He was riding through a village when three girls watched him pass. The youngest girl said, "If he marry me, I will give him two sons with hair of gold." The driver of the royal carriage overheard all of this, and he told his master. So the prince said, "Go and get the girl who said she would give me two boys with hair of gold." He called the girl over, and the prince told her to join his royal carriage. Time quickly passed, and the young queen became happy with child. But before she could give birth, the king had to go and fight. There was an old witch in the court who had teeth of iron, and she had a daughter. She would like the king to have married her daughter, but when he married another, she hated the young queen very much. The day came when the queen gave birth to two beautiful sons with hair of gold. But the witch with the iron teeth stole them and put two puppies in their place. Then she buried two boys opposite each other in the ground around the fish pond. The king was told the news that the queen had given birth to two puppies, and he had also lost that battle that day. This and the bad news about his wife made him very angry. He wrote a letter and sent it home. In the letter, he ordered that the queen and the two puppies should be thrown into the pond where a great whale in it. As soon as the messenger was sent away, he began to regret what he had ordered. When the king arrived home from the battle, he married the witch's daughter. Two trees grew on the spot where the two princes with hair of gold were buried. And the witch did not like this, of course, and she told her daughter to tell the king to cut the trees down. And she nagged him until he had both trees cut down. From their wood, two beds were made, one for the king and one for the queen. The witch ordered that splinters, twigs, and branches to be burned. But no one noticed a passing goat that gobbled up two small twigs from the tree. When the king and the queen were sleeping in their beds one night, the queen's bed asked the other, "Dear brother, is that weight not too heavy for you?" "It's not heavy at all, as my burden is my dear father." "But mine's too heavy, as my burden is my enemy." The witch was not asleep when she overheard the beds talking. The next morning, she ordered her daughter to burn the two beds. The two beds were burned up very day, but then the goat gave birth to two kids with hair of gold. The witch was shocked all over, and she told her daughter to ask the king to have the two kids killed. The goat kids was killed, and the witch ordered that every strand of their golden hair should be cleared away. But as the cleaner were washed in the stream, two little pieces turned into two goldfish. The two goldfish grew and grew until they were caught by a fisherman one day. But the fisherman showed when the two goldfish turned into two handsome young men with hair of gold. They duly thanked the fisherman for catching them and asked him to take them to the king as they are a real fine problem they want to recite to him. The fisherman shook all over with fear, but he agreed to take the two young men. The two young men were announced to the king, and the king gave the order to let them in. The witch with the iron teeth saw what will happen and tried her best to keep them out, but the king eventually met the two young men in spite of all her tricks. And she tried to follow them in and convince the king to not believe the two young men, but the king resisted, saying, "Don't meddle, mother-in-law. This is my business and not yours." The two young men recited a poem to the king, and in that poem, they told him their mother's stories and their own. They told the king that the whale had swallowed their mother alive and that she was still alive and still inside the whale's belly. They told the king to catch the whale and they would recover their mother. They also asked the king to richly reward the fisherman for his good deed. The witch with the iron teeth constantly tried to interrupt the truth and did all she could to make the king disbelieve it. But the king paid all his attention to the young man. The queen emerged from the well alive, and the king ordered his two sons and wife and the witch and her daughter to appear at the royal council. The king put the question to the council: "What does a witch deserve to try to kill two boys and their dear mother, ruin their reputation, and trick the father of this family? What should her punishment be?" So the royal council ruled that the witch and her daughter should be tied on the tail of two horses and dragged to the city. Then they had to be chopped into four and their bodies nailed to the four corners of the city. The queen and her two sons begged for mercy for both of them, but the sentence was duly carried out. The king gave a rich reward to the fisherman. There was a fabulous feast, and the people of the land and the royal family lived happily ever after. This is the end of my tale. Hope you like it, and wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.